being positive won't help. So in this video, I'll show you what to do instead to manifest your desires, to maintain, to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled with consistency so that you can actually start seeing the consequences of maintaining and assuming that feeling of your wish fulfilled in the outward external reality. So, my friend, in this all the spiritual communities, like the law of attraction communities, people become too attached to the idea of always feeling positive and always thinking good, which is obviously not possible. We are humans and we make mistakes. And if you still find yourself in the trap of that idea, then it will be actually impossible to manifest your desires because you'll be resisting all the negative feelings and all the negative states that you embody, and by resisting them they will have unconscious control over your state of being and over your actions and over your the way you carry yourself in your everyday life. So this is really crucial to understand. And now in this video I'll first show you a quote by Neville Goddard, because at the end our purpose here is to understand how the law of assumption works and be more efficient at it. So read you a quote from Neville Goddard, then I'll show you what is the process to going from being attached to positive thinking to actually embodying the state of your feeling of the feeling of your wish already being fulfilled, and the exact three things that you need to do to be able to go through that process. That being the case, let us directly begin with the video and get into the topic. So here is what Neville states in many of his teachings, and if you are a student of his work, well, my idea here is, my intention here is to explain my experience and to give you a clear explanation of how the law of assumption actually works. So here's what Neville states: man is incapable of passing from one state of consciousness into another unless he releases from consciousness that which he now entertains, for it anchors him to where he is. Which means that you are not able to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled if your awareness and attention is currently attached to a negative feeling that you're resisting, that you're pushing down, and you're trying to compensate with positive thinking. Which, in terms of the positive thinking that you do, you're actually thinking of the state of your feeling, of the feeling of your wish fulfilled, instead of thinking from the state of the feeling of your wish fulfilled, which makes a crucial difference. If you're thinking of the feeling of your state fulfilled, of the feeling of your wish already fulfilled, this means that you're externalizing it, you're putting it on a pedestal as if it exists outside of you, and you're hoping that eventually, by thinking positively of that state, you manifest your desires, which never works like that. Because if you put it outside of you, then this automatically means that inside of you, you're resisting the contrary, the opposite of the feeling of your wish fulfilled, of the state of the feeling of your wish fulfilled. So if you're externalizing, if you're hoping of to manifest your desires by positive thinking, this always means that you're resisting the contrary state within yourself. And if you're resisting it, you're unconscious of how it attracts the exact opposite of what you want. And this is the big problem here. Like, this is what makes manifestation so hard. And if you're not able to let go of the attachment to constant positive thinking, then you'll never be able to manifest your desires. And sorry that I'm the one who says that to you, but if you want to practice the law of assumption efficiently, then it's crucial you understand this concept. So let's get back to this statement. Man is incapable of passing from one state of consciousness into another unless he releases from consciousness that which he now entertains, for it anchors. You release the state of resistance that you find yourself in, all the positive thinking that you do will never work out. And in my life, I've been studying this manifestation game and law of assumption and things like that for 5 years already, and I've made all the mistakes possible. So I have found myself that anytime I try to push myself of thinking positively, affirming that my wish is already fulfilled, so on and so forth, I've put myself in a position in which I start hating myself, because I'm in a way resisting, running away from what I am currently, and I am not able to accept the state that I am in right now. And by accepting it, I'm not able to release it. So it always influenced me unconsciously until I understood the concept of letting go, which is what we will get into in a moment. So unless he releases from consciousness that which he now entertains, your mind may be attached to positive thinking. And this positive thinking may be like an escape strategy from the state that you're currently entertaining, which you don't like. And unless you release that current state of being, you wouldn't be able to shift your awareness to the state of the feeling of your wish already being fulfilled. Does this make sense? So unless you let go of your current state of being, which may be resistant and negative, you will never be able to actually focus your awareness on the state of your feeling already being fulfilled. And if you're thinking of that state, you'll be thinking of it, not from it. And if you're thinking of it, you're externalizing it. While instead, if you're thinking from it, because now you have released the negative state of being, and by letting it go, you have released it, and now you have all this open space inside of your body, which you can fill with the feeling of your wish already being fulfilled. That being the case, you can allow yourself to be fulfilled now, instead of thinking that something has to happen in the future so that you feel fulfilled, which is again the myth of all the spiritual and law of attraction communities, like the biggest bias in those communities. So now, by understanding this concept, now you might be curious, okay, how do I apply this in my life? And so here is the practice. We need to go from being attached to thinking positively of the state desired to consistently letting go of contradictory feelings to the state desired. So our focus shifts from thinking of the state desired to letting go of everything that contradicts it. Because if we're able to let go of everything that contradicts it, then we are naturally assuming it as if it were ours. And if you are assuming it as if it were ours, remember, the feeling is the secret. So if you find yourself feeling the state of your desire already being fulfilled, then your desire is already yours. So you naturally go through this sequence of events that will allow you to experience it in the outer external reality. But how do you do that? Like how can you let go of the feelings of resistance when you find yourself feeling when you find yourself forcing when you find yourself forced to think positively? Because anytime you want to feel positive, like you're trying to force yourself to think positive, every time this happens, this means that you're resisting a negative state, which is contradictory to the state of the feeling of the desire of the feeling of your desire already being fulfilled. So here are the three things that you need to become aware of to be able to let go of those contradictory states. First of all, you need to become aware of how your body feels. So if we stop for a moment right now, and I ask you, how does your body feel right now? Where do you experience the sensations inside of your body that are related to the feeling that you're currently experiencing? Maybe your stomach is restricted. Maybe you feel some pressure on your chest. Maybe you feel some pressure on your back. Maybe your throat is restricted. Somewhere inside of your body, you feel the effects of the feeling. Like what does the feeling include? So the feeling is inside of your body, and you need to become aware of how your body feels on the inside. So how do you feel now? Can you focus your awareness on the inside to see where are all those repressed and restricted sensations? Take a moment to do that right now, because the more like comfortable you become with that practice, the easier you find yourself applying the law of assumption successfully. So this is the first step. Then the second step is to validate that feeling and let it come up, giving it your presence and attention, undivided presence and attention. So what does that mean? It means that now that you're aware of all the sensations inside of your body, you let yourself have them. So you say to yourself, okay, it is okay for me to experience those sensations, because if I experience them, this is the only way I can release them from consciousness. And if I release them from consciousness, then I'll be able to shift my awareness to the state of my desire already being fulfilled. So that's why it's okay to validate them, no matter how negative they feel. And sometimes you'll find yourself that by validating them, you start crying, you start releasing them out. You maybe start sweating, you maybe become really stiff for a moment, but this is natural because this is how you release that resistance. So by validating the feelings and letting them come up, all those effects are natural. Crying, sweating, being really stiff and like trying to resist the feelings, because you have resisted them so far, and now that you validate the resistance, it is normal for it to intensify. By intensifying, it will start letting go, which is actually the third and last step. So first, you become aware of how your body feels. Second, you validate those feelings. And third, now this is the most important step, you start letting it go, asking yourself the question. Now, the letting go of your repressed feelings happens automatically if you just maintain your awareness on the sensations of inside of your body. And by maintaining your awareness there, now you ask yourself the question, how would I feel and perceive this moment if I was in the presence of my ideal already being fulfilled? So this is where it gets interesting, because now through the process of letting go, you're actually asking yourself that question to shift your awareness on the state of your desire already being fulfilled. So this energy, like all your attention that has been focused on resisting those negative feelings, now by letting go of those negative feelings, you instantly transition your awareness to the desire, to the feeling of your desire already being fulfilled. And you do that by asking yourself this question. And like you can change this question, you can make it work for you, but in essence, it is the same. How would I feel and perceive this moment if I were already in the presence of my ideal already being fulfilled? So it's like, if I knew that this state of my desire already being fulfilled existed, and I was to contemplate how would I feel and how would I perceive this state of resistance from the state of my desire already being fulfilled, then you would find yourself naturally thinking in the ways of, oh, it's okay for me to have those negative feelings because I am in the process of transitioning from one state to another. So, and if I knew that I was already in the state of my desire already being fulfilled, then it's like you can think from that state about your current state to help yourself in the letting go process. And by letting go of all the resistance, again, you naturally find yourself being identified with the state of your desire already being fulfilled. Does this make sense? So the practice here is not to be attached to thinking positively and like doing all these imaginary exercises, which were great. Don't take me wrong, like they're great exercises, they're great tools. But if you're doing them to run away from your negative states, they will not have an effect. So first of all, you need to be not in a natural, in a neutral state. And here you can be in a neutral state by letting go of your resistance. And then from there, by asking yourself this question, it's like if you find yourself imagining yourself in a circumstance which assumes the feeling of your desire already being fulfilled, this is great, but now it will work. Now you actually experience it in your body instead of just thinking about it. And there is a huge, this is like the biggest difference. Thinking of the state and thinking from that state. If you're thinking from that state, you're being it. If you're thinking of that state, you're being something else and you're externalizing it and you're creating this gap. And this gap now, it's like you need to close that gap by letting go of the negative feelings and resistance so that you can again come back to the place where you can think from the state of your desire already being fulfilled. So this was everything I wanted to share, and I'm sure that now that you know this practice, give it a try. Like, give it a try in the next couple of days and see if you're able to let go of all the contradictory feelings to your desire, because then you'll find it naturally manifest. Like, all the circumstances, um, they'll arrange themselves in such a way that synchronistically you'll find yourself acting out and other people supporting you in the manifestation of your desire, because now you don't harbor any more of the contradictory feelings to your desire. So this is how the law of assumption actually works from this context. So let me know in the comments if you find this video helpful. Like this video if you find it useful. Subscribe to the channel Soulful Relationships, because in this channel we'll be talking everything about attracting your ideal partner, getting in a relationship with them, how to maintain a healthy and conscious relationship. We'll be talking about manifestation, law of assumption, about letting go, about Neville Goddard, about David Hawkins, and other mystics and teachers. So if you find generally metaphysics inspiring, then subscribe to the channel, and I would love to see you in the other videos. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon. Love you.